Let's talk some Georgia recruiting. The Dogs are stacking talent in 2023, and if you're a Georgia fan, you thoroughly enjoyed your signing day. The Dogs finished with the number 2 overall class in the country, according to the On3 consensus team rankings. The type of recruiting we're seeing with Kirby Smart is what dynasties are built on. This cycle, Georgia signed 25 prospects during the early period and have 2 commitments that remain unsigned in wide receiver Raymond Cottrell and Jamal Merriweather. They're expected to sign in February's late signing period. 22% of this class comes from the state of Georgia, and this is Kirby Smart's 7th straight top 3 class. As a matter of fact, the only class that he didn't sign in the top 3 was the one that he inherited when he arrived from Alabama. UGA signed 1 5-star prospect, and that was edge Damon Wilson, and they signed 22 4-star recruits. Let's break it down by position. Starting at quarterback, Georgia did something that not many teams did this recruiting cycle, and that was the decision to pass on signing a quarterback. But Georgia won a national championship with a walk-on QB, so what's the big deal, right? No, I'm kidding. Georgia did make a serious run at Arch Manning, although they came up empty. But head coach Kirby Smart didn't seem overly concerned about it when speaking at his signing day press conference. Let's move on to running back. The Dogs signed 4-star running back Roderick Robinson II. At 6'1", 238 pounds, Robinson is a bruising back that Georgia was able to flip from UCLA in November. Robinson ranks as the 9th best back in the class and the 160th best player overall. Wide receivers and tight ends. Georgia signed 3 wide receivers and 2 tight ends. The trio of 4-star wide receivers includes Tyler Williams, Yazeed Haynes, and Anthony Evans. The group of receivers has the size, speed, and physical tools to be great once they put it all together. Now, I don't think the Georgia staff signed this group with the expectation that they'd be needed to make an instant impact. It's a tremendous group that has an even higher ceiling once they get to campus. At tight end, the Dogs have sort of established themselves as tight end U at the moment. They signed a pair this year that the staff believes can be stars. Pierce Spurlin comes in out of Santa Rosa Beach, Florida, and Lawson Lucky out of Norcross, Georgia. Spurlin goes 6'6", 230, while Lucky is 6'3", 240. They both bring size and athleticism to the position. Moving on to the offensive line, Georgia goes up against some of the best defensive lines in the country on a week-to-week basis. So at offensive tackle, UGA lands a pair of studs in Monroe Freeling, the 57th best player overall, and Bo Hughley, another top 10 tackle in the country. That duo right there is one of the most talented offensive line pairings in the entire country. Freeling is from South Carolina and checks in at 6'7.5", 285 pounds, while Bo Hughley is from Georgia, checking in at 6'6", 295 pounds. Exactly how you want your offensive tackles to look coming to campus: lean, flexible, and with a frame to add mass. UGA also signed a trio of interior offensive linemen: Kelton Smith out of Columbus, Georgia, Joshua Miller out of Colonial Heights, Virginia, and Jamal Merriweather out of Brunswick, Georgia. Switching over to the defensive side of the ball, let's start on the defensive line in the trenches where championships are won, and Georgia has put an emphasis on the defensive line in 2023. The Dogs landed a trio of the nation's best at the edge position this cycle, signing 5-star Damon Wilson, 5-star Samuel Mpemba, and 4-star Gabe Harris. With Nolan Smith and Robert Beal likely NFL-bound, Harris, Mpemba, and Wilson have the talent to come in and press for early playing time. On the interior of the defensive line, Georgia brought in 2 quality prospects and a pair of 4-stars, Jamal Jarrett, who is a mountain of a man at 6'5", 380 pounds, and draws comparisons to former UGA big man Jordan Davis. UGA also signed 4-star defensive lineman Jordan Hall out of Jacksonville, Florida. He's 6'3.5", 310 pounds, and a little more twitchy and quick off the ball than Jarrett is, but the 2 signees complement each other well. Overall, this defensive class is stacked, and this is the type of recruiting that wins you championships. At linebacker, Georgia brought in a crazy haul of elite backers. Glenn Schumann is once again stacking talent on the defensive side of the ball. All 3 of Georgia's linebackers are top 100 recruits. Some teams didn't even sign 3 top 100 recruits in their entire class, let alone at the linebacker position. Raylan Wilson comes from Florida. He's 6'1", 225 pounds, and comes in at the number 3 linebacker in the country. Troy Bowles is the son of Tampa Bay Buccaneer head coach Todd Bowles, and he's 6 foot, 206 pounds with sideline to sideline speed. CJ Allen is another 4-star linebacker. He's 6 foot, 226 pounds. He's ranked as the 9th best linebacker in the country and the 99th best player overall. This group has it all: speed, athleticism, and physicality. They have big shoes to fill, though, and carry on the legacy that guys like Nakobe Dean, Quay Walker, and Channing Tindall helped build. At defensive back, UGA signed 6 recruits to their secondary 2023 class. This position is right in Kirby's wheelhouse, being a former defensive back himself. One of the trends that stands out to UGA's defensive back recruiting is versatility and the ability to play anywhere in the defensive secondary. Georgia signed a big DB class in 22 and went for it again in 23. You really can't have enough DBs the way today's game is played. And Georgia's top-rated cornerback is A.J. Harris. He's the 37th best player overall and the number 3 ranked corner in the country. Harris is 6'1", 190 pounds, and he's going to be ready to play early because he's already on campus participating in bowl practices. Joel Aguero is another ball hawk in UGA's 23 secondary. He's the 43rd best player overall and the number 4 ranked safety in the country. UGA also landed 4-star cornerback Daniel Harris in the very rare commit, decommit, recommit move. You just don't see that one very often. The UGA staff had patience with Harris, though, because he's 6'2" and 175 pounds. He's a rangy defender that can play either corner or safety. UGA also signed 4-star corner Justin Rhett out of Las Vegas, 4-star corner Chris Peel out of Charlotte, and Kyron Jones, who is also from Charlotte. Moving on to special teams, Georgia got a big-legged kicker in Peyton Woodring. He showed that range earlier this year with a 60-yard field goal to set a Louisiana high school record. And would you be surprised if I told you Georgia isn't done yet in the 2023 class? There are still 2 major targets remaining on the board. Number 1 tight end, 5-star Deuce Robinson, and the number 1 athlete, 5-star Nicholas Harbor. I think right now UGA is more likely to land Robinson than Harbor, in my opinion. Robinson is a dynamic pass-catching tight end and a mismatch problem for opposing defenses, something that Georgia has highlighted in their offense with Brock Bowers. Now, Harbor is more of a long shot for the Dogs, but they have expressed some interest in the 5-star athlete from Washington, D.C. We got to see if he makes it to campus in January. Overall, this is an amazing class that UGA has signed, maybe Kirby Smart's best when you look at it top to bottom. So let's hear it from you. Who are you most excited about in UGA's 2023 signing day class? Thank you for watching. Make sure you smash that subscribe button for me, and remember to check out all the videos on the On3 YouTube page.